From WFAA TV, this is Inside Texas Politics with Jason Whiteley.
Good morning. Just in the last few days, lots of headlines impacting City Hall, your taxes, and perhaps the future of Dallas. So in studio to talk about navigating through each issue is Mayor Mike Rawlings, and joining the questioning as always is Bud Kennedy of the Star-Telegram. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Jason. Good to see you, bud.
Short intro. Wanted to get to the questions. We have lots of them. Dallas made the top 20 for Amazon, which I know that everyone is pleased about. How specifically, though, might Dallas sweeten its offer to put us over the top?
Well, we're going to compete with anybody. I think one of the advantages we have is the cost of doing business here financially. It's going to be a financial decision, but remember, we're going to be 10 to 12% cheaper than the national average. So you look on the East Coast, it's a lot cheaper to do business here. We're not going to put those cards on the table, but we're going to listen to Amazon what they want, and if we get into a bidding war at that point, we'll look very closely. But we're not going to shy away from this table.
Are you going to change anything with the offer? Sweeten
we
the offer
haven't talked to them yet, and they haven't asked us to. We filled out the RFP the way they wanted to, and we made it to the next round. But we're just in the playoffs right now, so we got a lot of work to do.
You want to hop in on Amazon?
Well, we hear about all the positives of Dallas-Fort Worth and Dallas, and maybe some sort of downtown location with several sites. But what's the major drawback? What's keeping Dallas? What would hurt Dallas in this argument?
If they wanted to be on the East Coast, I mean, you know, if for some reason they said, look, we need to be close to the media centers in Washington or New York, or we want to be an Eastern time zone for some business reasons. Obviously, we can't compete with that. On the other things, Wall Street Journal took all the requests, I mean, that they asked, graded them all, and Dallas was #1. Okay, Dallas-Fort Worth had more to offer than any other of those cities, if per their requests.
Governor Abbott unveiled his tax plan last week. He wants to cap how much local cities can essentially grow their revenue by 2.5%. How might that affect the city if indeed that's something the legislature approves?
Well, there's no question that it will cut services. We want to keep our tax rate going down. We've dropped it in the last 2 years, not to the level that I would like to.
What will it cut?
It'll cut quality of life issues. There's no question. Public safety is always cut in there. You know, to me, he's listening. Okay, he's listening because there are some caveats in that we've got to understand better, and we asked them to put caveats. But the other thing is, they don't cut their state taxes. I mean, you know, 75% of sales taxes goes to Austin, and nobody talks about cutting that. It's like, if we're going to cut taxes, we need to cut them all together, okay, and make it better for our citizens in Texas.
Let's jump into the mess that is the rental bikes all over this city here too. City manager imposing new rules that happened on Thursday night, but should the city limit the amount of bikes or the number of companies that can operate in Dallas?
We're going to look at that. I mean, first of all, being a better biking community is something we've all wanted to. More walking community, this is great. Thank God we didn't spend millions of dollars for those racked bike programs. And people said, you got to get that. Well, they're out of date now. So this is the new modem, and we like the fact that all these bikes are coming. It's a little bit too much, and we've got to kind of regulate back in. So there will be a role of regulation. It's probably a Goldilocks effect. You know, it shouldn't be for nothing. I mean, no regulation. It shouldn't be over the top. But there's going to be a way that we're going to find a nice place, a nice compromise where we can have the bikes and not have the mess that we see.
Are too many bikes out there right now?
Well, that's the business community. The business model would tell you, I don't know how they can make that happen. For citizens, they're telling me that's too many. But it's not just too many bikes, okay? To me, it's them being on the ground and the like.
Yeah, Michael, what takes the city so long to react? If I leave my car parked in the middle of the street, they tow it off. If I put a campaign sign, if you put your campaign sign on the city land, on city right away, they yank it up and take it away. It's all abandoned property. Why hasn't the city responded immediately to this abandoned property?
First of all, because we had rules in place for those other things. We don't have rules for this new technology. We're in the middle of innovation, and when innovation happens, you have to see what goes on and then regulate appropriately. So I think it's only been 3 months or so. I mean, so we'll get there, and we'll get there in the right way to have bikes and to make sure those bikes get off those areas.
You can pick up abandoned property under state law, I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about crossing guards too. Last week, council cobbled together $2.4 million to take over this program as Dallas City County Schools unwinds. What's the long-term solution, do you think?
Well, the long-term solution is that we've got to do this as a city. The city of Dallas has to take this over, and we've got to find the money. I think having the county help us with putting that $1.50 registration fee when you register your car, putting that money into crossing guards will keep those kids safe.
But the county said no.
And no, the county is taking this issue up again, and they're hopefully they'll say that, yes, and that'll help us keep those kids safe.
Council took $760,000 of that $2.4 million. $760 grand came from the police department's child safety funds. What was that money used for? Any idea? And what's not happening now, if you're familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with that exact amount.
Didn't mean to ask you a question out of left field there, since
That's
it's
right.
a
No
specific
problem.
line
No
item
problem.
budget. I was curious about that.
Yeah.
It's been 7 years since the Super Bowl was in Arlington. You know, and now it's going to Minneapolis. They said this Super Bowl was too cold. This year it goes to Minneapolis.
I remember 7 years ago.
Are you in the hunt now for a soccer World Cup, and will there be another Super Bowl?
Well, first of all, in the World Cup, I think we'd be a great place not only to host some games, but host the media again or the final games. I mean, we are perfectly located in North America. As you know, it's Canada, the United States, and Mexico all bidding together. We've worked hard to put together a good pitch, and we want that to happen. There's no question we want another Super Bowl, and we'll hopefully have better weather this next time, and I know Jerry wants that as well.
Does the lawsuit against Jerry and against the Cowboys for not having the seats available, did that hold Dallas back?
You know, I think we've got a lot of new stadiums coming online, and we have to kind of go through those new stadiums hosting. It's kind of a tradition that new stadiums host Super Bowls, and we'll get back on the cycle. I know that.
Dallas recently hired Renee Hall as police chief. Happened last September. She still can't wear the uniform. She can't be called chief yet because she hasn't taken her state exam yet. When do you expect that to happen?
Probably the next 30 days. Look, she came in. We had an interim chief. There was a lot going on. She's made a lot of decisions already that are very, very important, and I think good. And I know that she and the city manager are working hard on her schedule. So, you know, it's a test. You know, like a law test, or I guess journalists don't have a test, but you have to study for it. And so she needs to take a week off, study, get ready, and make sure she passes it.
Last thing, we have less than 30 seconds left. You have a year left in office. Are you done with politics?
Yeah, a year and 4 months, okay? I have made a commitment to the citizens of Dallas that I'm going to serve those 8 years, and I'm not going to think of anything after that at this point. I mean, I'm a business person, and
Are you going back into business?
I'm in business right now, and we'll always stay in business.
I can't let it go. When your father was a journalism professor, we definitely had to study for his test.
You did.
Yeah, there are many tests we have to take as well, too. Mayor Mike Rawlings, good to see you again.
Thanks so much, Jason. Thanks, bud.